Hello, my name is Amos Tarfa. I'm a medical physicist and math and science curriculum writer. I want to officially invite you and your family to Cambridge University for our August 2026 program. The goal is to be at Cambridge from the 1st to the 8th of August. People arrive on the 1st of August, which is a Saturday, from all around the world, and we'll gather for a meal in the evening. That would be the official start of the program. You'll have an opportunity to learn about what will happen over the next few days. You'll have an opportunity to get to walk around a little bit of Cambridge. If you want to go punting, you could do that as well. On Sunday, the 2nd of August, we will be able to visit a church nearby at Cambridge in the morning. And then after the church service, we'll have an opportunity to have a meal together and then have a deeper sort of tour of Cambridge. Cambridge is unique because Cambridge actually is a center of, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history of science, history of math, history of theology. I don't know if you know that, but even during the Reformation, there's some connections to things going on at Cambridge. So we're going to go to the Round Rock Church. We're going to look at different aspects of the history of theology tied to Cambridge. We will also visit one or two colleges that day if we can. So there's about 31 colleges at Cambridge, and we're going to try and visit a few of them. It's going to be hard to try and visit all of them, but we'll visit a few of them. There's a few key ones we're looking to visit, and we'll get an official tour. So Trinity College is one. Trinity Hall is another one. So Trinity College is where Isaac Newton was, James Clerk Maxwell, J.J. Thompson. So we're going to visit Trinity College. So on Sunday, we'll have an opportunity to get a history of the theological side of Cambridge, while also just visiting some of the colleges at Cambridge. So that's on Sunday. More time for bonding, more time for exploration. Now, from Monday to Friday, which is where we're going to have a bulk of our activities, I'm now going to give you a breakdown of the different types of things that will be happening from Monday to Friday. People leave on August 8th, which is a Saturday, so we'll have breakfast and then people begin to take off on the 8th. But we have a place to stay that we could stay at on campus. There are other options. There's hotels if people prefer that. But let's go back to Monday through Friday. Before I go to Monday through Friday, I want to mention one of the goals of this trip. One of the goals of the trip is to give parents an opportunity to spend time with the Life team, the Learning Institute for Excellence, the team from Life that will help you with academic counseling, college counseling, career counseling, and planning for your children. So this is one of the things happening in the background, because some of your children will leave this event and say, I know exactly what I want to do with my life. Let's say they go to the Cavendish Laboratory, right, which is at Cambridge University. James Clerk Maxwell started that. So when they go to the Cavendish Laboratory and you ask your children over dinner, what did you think about today? Your child might say, I want to be a physicist. I know exactly what I want to do with my life. Great. Now, I get some pushback, or people tell me sometimes, but Amos, if you encourage children to have a track, then we might be narrowing them. Well, here's the thing. People can do whatever they want to do with their lives, right? One of the things AI is going to force is that people will probably have multiple different things they do with their lives. Because think about it, right? There's never been a time where you can go from no knowledge of something to a big amount of knowledge in that field, right? I can testify to that, right? I'm doing a lot of research and work in agentic AI systems and computer science and software engineering. My background is chemistry, physics, and mathematics. But see, I'm also looking into more of computer science now, and engineering and electrical engineering, because I find it interesting because of the moment, this time in history, right? I'm trying to understand these systems that are being built, and I want to understand where there's risks and benefits, and what a person studies. It should not ultimately limit what they can do with their lives going forward. They can always change things around. But if they don't have any direction at the moment, I think that's a disadvantage children have sometimes, where they're literally forcing themselves to apply themselves to learn when they don't even know what they want to do with their life. So what we need to do instead is have a different approach. The approach I think that makes sense is help children know the track that they should explore for now. And then if they decide to change later, no problem. And I'll tell you one of the things that is very certain, no matter what your child wants to do, them learning more mathematics will never hurt. I've never met anyone who says, man, I wish I just learned less math. I've never heard that. Like later on in their career, they're just like, I wish I didn't take as much math as I took. So what that means is we should need to encourage children to take as much math and as much science as they can when they're young, because it will provide them with a foundation so that whatever they want to do with their lives, they'll be okay. So I have the booklet here for Cambridge. I have the booklet also for the museum at Oxford. the Museum of the History of Science at Oxford. And then I also have the brochure for Isaac Newton's house, which is one of the things we'll be doing. So what will we be doing Monday through Friday? Well, we'll be making sure that your children are taking notes and journaling. We have a website where they can take notes and keep track of their progress of what do I find interesting? Do you know that some of the best mathematicians, like Sir Andrew Wiles from Oxford University, he's at Oxford about to retire. He solved Fermat's last theorem. You might have heard of it. One of the things interesting is some of these people knew what they wanted to do with their lives when they were in 5th grade, when they were still like 10 or 11, because they found something that captivated their attention. Now, children can change their direction later. That's fine. But are there things that we can give them as tools to guide them along the way? We have a website now, a STEM career planning website. We're going to have one that is more general, but we have one that is tailored towards STEM. So let's say somebody knows they are interested in science, technology, engineering, and math, and they want to know what to do within STEM. We have a list of resources, and I'll put the link to just the list of different career fields that children can explore in the description section. But what I want to encourage us to realize is that children should have some direction. And so your children are looking for direction while they explore the colleges of Cambridge, while they learn the history of science. So Monday through Friday, we're going to be learning the history of science, the history of Cambridge, all of that, right? That's going to be one day dedicated to Cambridge, one day dedicated to Oxford. So we leave early in the morning and we travel down to Oxford and we get to explore the world of Oxford for the day. So again, Monday through Friday, we have 5 days, one day dedicated to Cambridge, one day dedicated to Oxford, one day dedicated to Isaac Newton's house. Again, we'll get on another tour bus or a bus that we'll rent out. We'll go over to Newton's house, and we'll have some lectures in physics at Newton's house. While we're at Cambridge, we're going to be having some different guest speakers that will be sharing. And so some of them have taught at Cambridge. Some of them were educated at Cambridge. There's several speakers that are lined up that are going to be able to share. So we have Oxford, Cambridge, Newton's house. What about the remaining 2 days? I'm glad you asked. The Royal Institution in London is one of the most fascinating stories in the history of science, because Michael Faraday did his work there. Now, Michael Faraday and James Clerk Maxwell had a collaboration. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go to the Royal Institution and we're going to have a tour and we're going to enjoy ourselves learning about the history of Michael Faraday and some of the greatest minds in the history of science. Experimental physics is part of Michael Faraday's background. So we have the Royal Institution and the British Museum. The British Museum is quite vast in terms of what you can explore. And so we're going to have an opportunity to visit the British Museum. There's a lot of history of Western civilization. There's a lot of history there. So we're going to go to the British Museum. And then we're going to have an opportunity to get a tour of different parts of London in terms of the history of the church. And that leads me to one of the last major things we're going to do on the trip. William Wilberforce. We're going to study the life of William Wilberforce. When we go to the British Museum, you're going to learn a lot of things that happened in history. But then we're going to take a tour around London and we're going to go to John Newton's church. John Newton's church, or understanding the history of John Newton's church, will help you see the role that he played in William Wilberforce's life. William Wilberforce changed the world. He was a follower of Jesus and he wanted to see the slave trade end. There's a movie called Amazing Grace about William Wilberforce. So we're going to spend time learning about William Wilberforce. We'll come back Friday night, have a great time of just recapping everything we've learned. And then on Saturday, people begin to take off to their various destinations. I will probably be staying longer. And so for those who are not able to leave on Saturday, we'll probably have some more opportunities to debrief, visit more Cambridge colleges, do more work. And just there's things that can happen, but that's extra. Anyways, let's go back to the recap. Those who come to Cambridge will do the following. They will explore Cambridge, explore Oxford, explore Newton's house, explore the Royal Institution, the British Museum. They will explore the Cavendish Laboratory and the history of the Cavendish Laboratory. They will get a deep understanding of how we got to where we are today in the history of science, philosophy, and mathematics. That is part of what we're doing with this trip. They will get a better understanding of Isaac Newton, James Clerk Maxwell, J.J. Thomson. They'll get a better understanding of Michael Faraday. And this is going to be eye-opening. Artificial intelligence and its history, which is tied to Cambridge again with Alan Turing and his work. They're going to learn about the Enigma machine and what happened during World War II. So this is going to be a comprehensive history of history, comprehensive history of science, comprehensive history of mathematics, comprehensive history of computer science. That is what you're going to get at Cambridge University in 2026. We've set our rates for the program, but then people will pay for their own flights to get to London. We can coordinate trips from London to our housing at Cambridge for anybody who's coming, but the prices are set, and on all of these trips, all these internal travels are covered within the trip. So once you get there, from the time you arrive to the time you leave, we are covering all the tickets and everything with the payments that people are making. If you have any questions about this trip, feel free to reach out. It's going to be $6,000 per person. And then if they're coming with a family, then there's some discounts to break that down. But if an individual is coming by themselves, that'll be $6,000. And that covers all the lectures, all the travel, all the different things that are happening. I will add one caveat for those who want to stay longer or who want to come in earlier. For those who want to stay longer at your own time, I want to encourage you to maybe consider one more trip. We're going to Newton's house, but there's another person's house that I think would be worth visiting, and that would be James Clerk Maxwell's house. But in order to get there, you have to get on a flight, a low-budget flight from London or from one of the airports outside London to Edinburgh. And from Edinburgh, you go to India Street. You could take an Uber or train, you go to India Street, and 14 India Street is where you get to explore the history of James Clerk Maxwell in more detail in terms of where he was born and so on and so forth. So that is the picture. We are accepting, interest forms now. We're probably going to cap it at about 30 people for this cohort. And so if you're interested, reach out to us. We're excited to work with teachers, work with families to give them an experience that they will never forget as they explore Cambridge University, Oxford, the Royal Institution, the British Museum, the history of science, the history of William Wilberforce, and much more. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Look forward to seeing some of you at Cambridge, and we'll have some webinars to answer more specific questions over the next few weeks. Take care and have a blessed day.